What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, I just listened to Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins, legendary, retired Hall of Famer, former reigning undisputed middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, and his breakdown of the massive mega showdown, August 21st, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, between undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Errol Spence Jr. and legendary 8 division world champion iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pacquiao. That's scheduled to take place August 21st, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. With that said, Bernard Hopkins, he breaks down the fight. And Bernard Hopkins, he says that he likes to go in depth about this fight between Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence because it's very intriguing. And one thing that that jumps right out at him is that this is not a change in the guards. Manny Pacquiao, 62 wins, 7 losses, 3 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's been knocked out himself 3 times. Manny Pacquiao is 42 years of age, stands at 5'5", with a 67-inch arm reach. Okay, so Manny Pacquiao is significantly older than Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence is considered top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He's 31 years of age, stands at 5'9.5", with a 72-inch arm reach. So he's 11 years younger than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is seen to be past it. It was shocking that Manny Pacquiao, he defeated former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. Was somewhat of a, don't want to say it was an upset, but most people thought at 40 years old he wouldn't be able to withstand the young, hungry lion in Keith Thurman. Okay, but Keith Thurman had been inactive for quite some time. Keith Thurman was coming off of a lackluster performance after a 2-year layoff when he fought Josito Lopez, and looked like in 2 rounds he was getting ready to get stopped. Injuries, inactivity for Keith Thurman, so it's different levels, right? But Errol Spence is coming off of a 14-month layoff, suffering a horrific car accident, but he did have a fight, a high-level fight. That's the difference between Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, is that Errol Spence, he fought a 2-division world champion, was a former unified junior welterweight world champion and former WBC welterweight world champion, who has a high knockout ratio, is a high level fighter, still in his prime, and Danny Swift Garcia, superstar boxer. With Keith Thurman, no slight to Josito Lopez, when he came back, he fought Josito Lopez. Josito Lopez not the same level of fighter Danny Garcia is. So that's the difference. And Errol Spence, he won every single round. With that said, Bernard Hopkins was saying that this is not a changing of the guard. This is not that fight that Manny Pacquiao is passing Errol Spence the baton. This is not that. He said Manny Pacquiao is not that past it. Okay, he's not at that point in his career where this is a changing of the guard. And he stated that he likes to break down this fight. They're both southpaws. Errol Spence has nearly a 5-inch height advantage over a 4.5-inch height advantage over Manny Pacquiao, and he has a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Manny Pacquiao. Okay, he's a better technical fighter than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is more explosive. He's more athletic. He's quicker. Manny Pacquiao, as Bernard Hopkins stated, he uses his feet to put his opponents in positions where they're not comfortable, but he's very comfortable. So he says he overwhelms his opponents with his feet. That's how he gets his victories. He overwhelms his opponents with his feet, and ultimately, they succumb to his pressure. So he says what's interesting about this is that Errol Spence needs to land his jab, okay? Because Manny Pacquiao has a rhythm. He's a rhythm fighter. He says he has a bounce, something like Bruce Lee, in which he does. But you can start to time Manny Pacquiao, okay? That's not what Bernard Hopkins was saying. That's what I was saying. So Freddie, he said that being with a well-renowned trainer, Hall of Fame trainer, iconic trainer, and Freddie Roach, he teaches offense, Freddie Roach's. That's his, his offense is his defense. Freddie Roach believes that you can overwhelm your opponents. The late great Emmanuel Stewart thought so too. He didn't like to leave it up to the judges, right? And so he's a rhythm fighter. He fights on his toes. So Bernard Hopkins says he's a lot like Bruce Lee, right? They have this little bounce. Manny Pacquiao's bounce is a lot more bounce than Bruce Lee's bounce was. Bruce Lee had more of a, a quiet bounce, a southern, smooth, quiet, bounce to him, right? It was subtle bounce. Manny Pacquiao's bounce is a lot louder than Bruce Lee's bounce, okay? Manny Pacquiao's bounce is a lot more noticeable than Bruce Lee's bounce, and Manny Pacquiao's bounce is a lot more predictable than Bruce Lee's bounce. But again, as I always state, if you cannot deal with the pressure that Manny Pacquiao puts on you, if you cannot deal with the fact that he's going to continuously come, because he's just that, right? He's a warrior, to say the least. He's not going to stop coming. You're going to have to knock out Manny Pacquiao like Juan Manuel Marquez did, okay? Or you're just going to have to be able to control the pace of the fight. You're going to have to weather the storm every time he brings it, because he's going to bring it. As Bernard Hopkins says, he throws punches 3, 4, and 5s, not always just in 1s and 2s. He's not predictable in that way. He's predictable in his bounce. You can start to time Manny Pacquiao with his bounce, because what he does is, he starts to get in such a rhythm that he starts to become predictable, right? He starts to get comfortable, and he starts to, bounce 1, 2, go, 1, 2, go. I'm hypothetically speaking. It's not always 1, 2, and go. But I'm saying he gets in a comfort zone where, he says to himself, okay, 1, 2, then I can go. Oh, I could bounce 1, 2, and I'm having success. Okay, then he'll start continuously, subconsciously going at that same pace. And it's up to you to make the adjustment and identify and notice that, okay, this guy's going to come on his third bounce, right? And he will come on his third bounce, as we saw with Juan Manuel Marquez when he timed him and knocked him out, because he's going to do what? He's going to come on his third bounce, right? And he says that if Errol Spence is not able to land his jab, the jab is going to offset Manny Pacquiao's rhythm, which I 1000% agree with. And Errol Spence has one of the best jabs in boxing. So he stated that if Errol Spence is not able to land a jab, then he's going to be in trouble, right? But if Errol Spence is able to land a jab, well, then he can upset Manny Pacquiao's rhythm, and then you can frustrate Manny Pacquiao. So, he says that a part of him says that he don't know if Manny Pacquiao has what it takes to keep Errol Spence off of him. But then there's another part of him that says that, he may overwhelm Errol Spence. I believe that Errol Spence's technical prowess is going to be the difference in his fight. A lot of people are looking at the youth. Again, I believe it's a mistake. Just like they did with 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia when he fought Errol Spence. Everybody thought that Errol Spence size, his strength, the fact that he gets a lot of stoppage victories, he's a pressure fighter, he's relentless. Oh, well, that was going to be the key for him beating Mikey Garcia. You even had a legendary fighter, Sugar Ray Leonard, says that he picked Mikey Garcia to win because Mikey was simply the better boxer. And when asked, well, why are you picking Mikey Garcia to beat Errol Spence? And he says, simply because he's Mikey. He's a better boxer. Okay, so everybody just thought if it was a boxing match, Mikey Garcia was going to outbox, the pressure fighter. Okay, and it was anything but that. Errol Spence once again showed his versatility. Errol Spence is showing us that he can box. He can box on the back foot. Is he perfect? No. Blair Cobb, he stated, he was doing an interview with Bernard Hopkins, and he stated that Errol Spence has a high guard. He's been studying him. He's ready to fight him right now as well. Errol Spence has a high guard. That's his defense. And if you can get around it, you can have success. I've been saying that for quite some time, that I don't like the fact that Errol Spence puts on these earmuffs and he goes back in a straight line and he puts his head on a straight line. So Blair Cobb is saying he don't move his head, he goes back on a straight line. That's his defense. And ultimately, I've been saying the same thing. I don't like the fact that Errol Spence blinds his own defense. He blinds his own offense, right? He puts himself in a position sometimes where he's not able to counterpunch you when he's on the defensive, because he goes too much into defense mode. It's like a shell that he goes into, a high guard, and goes back on a straight line. It's like a shell he does. Most notably, you can see it in the Kell Brook fight when he fought Kell Brook. You can see him using his high guard, going back in a straight line, and Kell Brook had success because of that. But he's shown the versatility. Okay, he can adapt. He just chose against Kell Brook to stay in that formation, so to speak. Right? He chose to continue to fight. I believe he saw something in Kell Brook that told him, well, you know what? He's going to have success, but I'm breaking this man down, and I can stay in this defense because eventually I'm going to break him down. Because when he fought Sean Porter, he didn't do that. When he fought Sean Porter, he didn't continue to go back. He did it at times, right? And you can see Sean Porter capitalize on it, but not consistently like he did against Kell Brook. When he was fighting Kell Brook, he consistently went back in that straight line to allow Kell Brook to have success, okay? He didn't do that on a consistent basis against Sean Porter. So with that said, I don't believe he'll do it on a consistent basis with Manny Pacquiao. He didn't do it on a consistent basis at all with Mikey Garcia. And he's shown a whole different fighter when he fought Danny Garcia. He was pressuring him, then jumping back out, getting in and getting out, touching Danny Garcia and then getting back out. Well, and that's because the fight warranted that, because Danny Garcia is a counterpuncher with power in both hands. He sits down on all his punches. So I believe that Errol Spence is far more versatile than we give him credit for. And I believe that his jab will land. And if the jab is not landing, like Bernard Hopkins says, it's not going to be a mugging, right? He's not going to go in there and just walk down Manny Pacquiao and get the stoppage victory. That's not going to happen. But what he will do is, outbox Manny Pacquiao, right? Because that's what's warranted to beat Manny Pacquiao. Sometimes we don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? It would be great for Errol Spence to go in there and get a stoppage victory. But if you have the skills and the tools to outbox Manny Pacquiao and assure a victory, then do that, right? Pressure fighters play in the hand of Manny Pacquiao, right? Those are guys that he loves to fight because he's quicker. He has the quickest feet in boxing. I think that Sean Porter has the most educated feet in boxing, but he has the quickest feet in boxing. The good thing about it is Errol Spence has been in the ring with Sean Porter, so their footwork, Manny Pacquiao's quicker stutter steps, slightly quicker than Sean Porter, but Sean Porter is right there next to Manny Pacquiao. So it's not going to be something that he's not used to, okay? It's not going to be something that, is going to be foreign to him, because he's been in the ring with Sean Porter, and Sean Porter is he has more of a dog mentality and more of an aggressive style than Manny Pacquiao with his quick feet. So I don't believe that would be, a surprise to Errol Spence, the foot speed of Manny Pacquiao. The hand speed of Manny Pacquiao may surprise Errol Spence at times. But I believe that eventually Errol Spence will start to get the timing. So Bernard Hopkins, he says that, the jab is key for Errol Spence. And I've been saying this all along. The jab is key. Control the pace, control the range. You start to break them down, then you get them up out of there. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So, I believe that to be the key. You understand? And I believe he'll control the pace. He'll control the distance. He'll control the pace of the fight. He'll use his jab. If after you start to use your jab and you start to frustrate, because we've seen that Manny Pacquiao can be frustrated. Once you start to frustrate him, once you start to break him down, then if it presents itself to stop him, then you put the pressure on and then you stop him. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. I believe Errol Spence will be the victor via a split decision. I think it is going to be close in the beginning because he has to get used to Manny Pacquiao, what he presents. In the second half, I think he's clearly going to win the second half. And I believe that he'll win a split decision victory. But I do see Errol Spence being able to get a unanimous decision victory, dropping Manny Pacquiao, and stopping him is not out the realm as well. But right now, as it stands, I see him getting a split decision victory. Either way, I see him being the victor. And I think it's going to be an exciting fight. And Errol Spence is going to learn a lot from this fight. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.